Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Universally Epic Podcast, your go-to Universal Orlando trip planning podcast. I'm your host, Jim Klein, and in today's show, we will discuss Loews Portofino Bay Hotel, Express Pass, and some interesting details about the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. We're also going to get into the new Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry attraction, and Super Nintendo World coming to Epic Universe, which opens May 22nd, 2025. And to help me out, I have a friend and fellow travel agent. She has been with the Magic Plus Travel for 12 years, Laura Fitzpatrick. Hey, Laura, how are you?
Hey, Jim, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. So, I like to start off with anybody that's new to the podcast on like when did you become a Universal fan? Like when did that start?
I actually went to Universal for the first time in 2012, and what really got, or was it 20? Yeah, in 2011, which really got me was when they opened the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And I know the Wizarding World didn't open then. I wanted to wait about a year and a half or so because I didn't want it to be crazy crowded, but I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, so that's what led me to Universal.
So, were you into more of the movies or the books or both?
Both. You would have found me at many midnight showings and book premieres with dress up and the Harry Potter scar painted on my forehead.
That's great. That's
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. So today we're going to talk about a few different topics. Our first topic is going to be Loews Portofino Bay Hotel, which I know you stayed at. I visited the Loews Portofino Bay Hotel when I was
Mhm.
there last week. Just kind of explored the resort, and it's such a nice resort. What
Yes.
what do you want to say about Portofino Bay?
I think Lowe's Portofino Bay really is a hidden gem in Orlando. It's really a step into Italy. I mean, it's amazing that they've been able to capture Portofino, Italy. I've been to Italy and I've seen, the Mediterranean, and it's right there. It's just like a step there. I encourage guests, if they go to stay there, that you need to plan a day at the resort because there's just so much to do. The boat rides and the pools, the walk-in zero entry pools. There's just so much to offer.
Yeah, there's three
Let's
pools
see
there,
more.
right? There's three pools.
Yes. The one is a zero entry and actually has a sand bottom. There's a beach that you can play at and relax at, and then there's another quiet pool with water features, which is just spectacular. It's very relaxing.
Yeah, one thing that I really loved about Portofino, like, so when you take the water taxi in, when you make that turn to come into that harbor, and you have all like the little fishing boats there, and like that whole like it's such a vibe, like a
Yes.
Italian vibe that you get like an old world like feel. It's it's funny because we pulled in, and my kids obviously not Universal property, but they were like, "Is this where Luca was filmed?" So
Yes. It
right?
definitely is Luca
It
vibes for
definitely does.
sure.
It definitely does, right? Like it's
Yeah.
such a nice, and it's so quiet during the day there. It
Yes.
it was so nice. And it's beautiful. They have these big plazas where there's like fountains, and it's such a beautiful resort to walk around. Um,
Mhm.
and then when you go inside, that carries into like the lobby, and there's like little off wings of the lobby that have like shops and stuff. Really, really nicely done.
Yeah.
Um, one thing that I always wanted to do, and you're in the parks and you're like moving around, and then you never really get back to it. But have you ever been to I think it's called Musica della Notte, the opera
No,
singers at like I think they're performing at like 7:30 at night every day. Have you seen this
I
or?
have not. No, no, no.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that's such an unusual thing to have at a resort. So they're like standing in like a balcony overlooking the harbor, singing like opera. It's such a unique thing, right?
Mhm. You had mentioned the boats when you arrive, but even if you arrive by vehicle or by transportation, however you get there, you still get that spectacular view of the harbor. So it's like they purposely designed the roadway and that boat ride to hit you right when you get to that harbor because you're right. It looks like Luca, which I know is not
You know?
universal, but it's definitely the same vibe.
Yeah, really nice. It's so
Yeah.
nice. Have you eaten at any of the restaurants there? Which ones would you recommend?
Um, I've heard really good things about Mama Della's.
Mama Della's, right?
Um,
Yeah, I've heard.
Everyone talks about that. Like if you have an anniversary or a birthday or something special to celebrate, that's where you need to go for the best Italian food. When I stayed there, I actually stayed club level. So I took advantage of
I was going to
the
ask you
club
that. I
level
was
options.
so
Yes.
okay. So club level is like one of those things. I've stayed at a club level, like not at Universal, and it is really nice. So
Hmm.
let's go through the club level experience at Universal.
Yeah. And surprisingly, club level is like it's an upgrade, of course, but it's not as much of an upgrade as you think it would be, and you do get a lot included and a lot of amenities included with that. So I mean, definitely the food. When I actually went with fellow agent Shelly Eaton, and we stayed club level together, and I mean, we had a full breakfast, and it was included with our club level stay. But we got to fill up, head to the parks for the day. We came back for a snack in the afternoon. They have evening desserts and cocktails, and they actually just redid the club level lounge. When I stayed there, they were renovating the club level lounge. So you mentioned earlier one of those plazas, like off to the side. That's where the club level was at the time when I was there. But last year, I was able to tour the new lounge, and it is awesome. There are lots of like seating areas for big like families, but then there's a lot of like one-offs for smaller, like if you're just traveling with another person. But the offerings are the same, but it's really spectacular.
Yeah. So what kind of drinks are included in that too? Is it do they have alcoholic beverages or is it just sodas and waters or
They have some alcohol served throughout the day, but yeah, definitely like grab a bottle of water before you head to the parks.
yeah, that just
Sodas.
you know that
Yeah,
alone will
it's
save
great.
you a bunch of money,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
just a nice place to go relax and talk to the team members that are there. And
Yeah, do they help you out in any way, or they just give you some advice, or how is that? How are the team members that are in the lounge?
yeah, no, they're great. They're able to help you with anything you need, and offer you just advice and good
Nice.
company. So yeah, it was great. I would definitely say club level there again. Our room overlooked the sand bottom pool,
Oh, that's
so it was really nice just to have that again, that Mediterranean vibe. So
are the club level rooms scattered throughout the resort, or is it kind of close to that lounge?
they're primarily close to that lounge, but I know there are some scattered around, but they're mostly in that
Okay.
area of the
Yeah.
resort.
So, so another room type that I find like I have to go with my kids. Obviously, big Minion fans. Like they have a Despicable Me family suite.
Yes.
Have you seen these? Have you toured them? Because the pictures look amazing. And like,
Well,
go ahead.
yeah, I was just going to say, touring them seems to be an issue because there's so few of them and they're always booked.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've noticed the key with any of the suites, like the Despicable Me ones, the Jurassic World suites over at Royal Pacific. If you need to book them well in advance. I mean, it's possible to book them, last minute or a couple months out. I mean, I will say that it is possible, but especially those Minions ones, you have
Yeah. They
to
look
see
cool.
them. Yeah, they look really cool.
So with the family suites at Universal, like they have themed all over the resorts at the mostly the signature hotels. But this one's like obviously Despicable Me themed. So you have one room, you have a queen bed in the one room, and
Hmm.
then you have like two twin beds in a separate room. So like your kids have their own bedroom, like you have your own bedroom. It's kind of nice. It has a lot of space inside. It's kind of nice if you're a family like looking to have a nice stay at a hotel while staying
Yeah.
at Universal.
Something I like about those family suites too is that second bedroom for the kids doesn't have a hallway door. So it's just a little bit more like I'm thinking of my three little boys. Like it's just nice knowing that they still have their separate space, but they
Yeah,
can't get out in the hallway. And not that they
well,
would, but
um,
anything can
no, that
happen with boys.
yeah, but that's the thing is like when you have kids, though, those are the little things that like do mean a lot because
Yeah.
you don't want your kid like wandering off in the middle of the night just because, like, oh look, here's a door. He thinks it's a bathroom or something. He ends up in the
Right.
hole. This is what parents think about, right?
Sure.
And
It's really
other people are
tempting.
just like, what are you talking about? No, this is what happens. This is literally what happens. Like, they find
Mhm,
ways to just get into trouble. So,
mhm.
uh, so Loews Portofino Bay is definitely a gorgeous resort. Definitely highly recommend staying there. But one of the biggest things that you should know about staying at Portofino Bay is the Express Pass. So you get unlimited Express Pass. And now, when we were talking earlier offline, you had mentioned that you've never even been to Universal without an Express Pass, right?
Yeah. I don't know
You
if I could go without it.
so so okay. So there's two types of express passes, right? So you have unlimited express passes, and then you have the regular express pass. The regular express
Mhm.
pass allows you one entry to each attraction at whichever, if you get it at Universal Studios or Islands of Adventure, or if you have a park hopper, that's. But
Yeah.
the unlimited, you could just keep going on, right? It's
Yeah.
so nice, and it's such it's huge benefit to staying at these resorts. Portofino Bay in particular, um, is Portofino Bay, Royal Pacific, and Hard Rock. Right? If you're
Mhm.
staying at
Yep.
one of those three, you get unlimited. And now a regular express pass costs how much? It can get up to $250 a person per.
It varies time of year. And if you want both parks, Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios, or versus just the one park. Something to consider too with those premier resorts, Portofino, Royal Pacific, and Hard Rock is, if you're wanting to do like a split stay or something like that, like your express pass is good for the day you check in and the day you check out. So if you opt in for just a one night stay, but you have a 2 day ticket, that express pass is good for both days.
That's great. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. It's such a great thing to do because, especially if you want, you could spend like a week there, right? You could go 4 or 5 nights at another hotel and kind of take it easy. Go to Volcano Bay, check out City Walk, and then if you want to really go hard at the end of your trip, book one night. You don't even have to book it at the end. You could book it right in the middle. You don't even have to go stay there. You could still just check in, grab your pass, and you could have 2 days
Mhm.
of express pass. And depending on your family size, this works perfectly for like larger families, right? Four or more, because when you're paying per person upwards of $250 a person per day, that's a lot of money, and it's a
Mhm.
hell of a lot cheaper to just purchase one night at one of these resorts.
Yeah. And with the express pass too, what if you opt to do that and stay one night at Portofino, like because of the express pass, you'll still have time to go enjoy the resort because you'll be using the express pass to get on everything. So your wait times are cut,
Right.
tremendously.
You save
So
a
yeah.
ton of time as well. No, you're right. So, what's the process? Let's talk to everybody about what is the process of obtaining the express. Where is it? Like, so like it's not just a random like, oh, here's the express pass. So it's actually on your hotel room key,
Yes.
right? So
Hmm.
that's why when everybody talks about Universal, they talk about lanyards, right? So
Hmm.
your land having a lanyard when you're staying at one of these resorts is very important, I think, because it's easy access when you get onto that ride, right? Because they
I
scan it
think so
every
too.
time. So like when you walk up to the express pass at the attraction, they'll scan your room key basically, and it'll say it on your room key, unlimited
Hmm.
express pass. So that's kind of nice. Like, and I've done a few episodes with Taylor, and Taylor's got like 15 lanyards. So if you need one, you could always borrow from her. But yeah, that makes it so much easier to walk around the parks, and then you're not pulling it out of your wallet or your purse or whatever
Hmm.
every time you're going up to attraction. So like a lanyard, if you have the express pass with your hotel stay, I would definitely recommend the lanyard, to
Hmm.
just for ease of use while you're in the parks.
Definitely. Yeah. Because you can keep your ticket in there too. Because when you check into any of the Universal resorts, you have to go to the ticket counter
Yep.
and get your ticket separate. And they always have lanyards for sale,
Yeah.
right there at the ticket counter or the gift shops. So,
Yeah. It's the express pass is definitely worth it. Obviously, when you're staying at the resorts, I don't know. And now, so where else have you stayed that you had an express pass? Other did you ever purchase the express pass?
I stayed at Royal Pacific with the Express Pass and
Okay.
then at Cabana Bay, and that was an add-on to my
Okay.
ticket because it's
And
not offered at Cabana Bay. Yeah.
okay, now did you get the unlimited or did you just get the
The
regular?
unlimited. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It,
I'm trying to think of because I visited Universal one time when I was pregnant, and I even had the Express Pass when I was there. And there's not as much to do while you're pregnant because of the restrictions at Universal. But even though I had the Express Pass, I had a lot of fun just riding the Hogwarts Express back and forth because I'm a
yeah,
diehard Harry Potter fan. But I didn't have to wait in line. I could just get right back in the Express line and,
that is nice.
go back and forth. So
So when you visited the parks while you're pregnant, what month was it? Number one. Let's go there. Do you remember when you visited?
um,
What time of year?
yeah, let's see here. Gosh, I think I was 6 or 7 months pregnant. Yeah. So I was very large. And that's why I didn't really want to risk too much. But
So
yeah,
you kept it like kind of easy. Obviously,
yes.
to the Hogwarts Express. Did you go on anything else while you were there? You go on a Cat in the Hat or anything like that, or
No, believe it or not, I've never done any of the Cat in the Hat attractions.
um,
I just
they're,
never really had the time to
they're
do
great.
it.
You gotta go. They're great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think it was just the
such an
people I was with.
exciting ride.
Yeah. I think if I went with my boys, that would be where I would be because my kids are 7, 5, and 2. So that's where
Okay.
we'll be spending a lot of our time. But no, I was all about the Harry Potter because for that particular trip, I hadn't seen Diagon Alley yet.
Okay.
So that was like my main focus when I was there. So I knew going in that my friends were going to go off and do all of the coasters and the things, and I just was gonna hang out and I still had a great time. But
Like
it was nice having that express pass so they could still come on, things with me. Like I went on Men in Black and um,
that's a fun ride. I
ET pregnant, and that was fine. So
Men in
yeah,
Black is another one that's like underrated, I think, because it's
I
just
think it is too.
such a
Yeah.
ride. It is a little dated at this point, but it's fun. I enjoy it. Any shooting type of game,
Yeah.
but
I
like
would replace the word dated with nostalgic
yeah, okay,
because
I'll give you
I just love that. It's old dark ride and
yeah,
there's something to be said for that. So,
yeah. It's a lot of fun. That ride is a blast. All right,
yeah.
so let's move on to our next topic. So we're going to talk about the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and you're such a huge Harry Potter fan that I think you'd be perfect in explaining some of the details that are in the land based on like the movies and the books and stuff like that. So I'll give
Yeah.
you a couple minutes and just give me what you know because honestly, I watched a few of the movies. I love the land. I think it's amazing. Like I thought it was very cool. My daughter has read more of the books and watched more of the movies than I have,
Sure.
and she loved it too. And she was pointing out stuff to me, and I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so go ahead. Let's hear some of the details that you'd like to share.
So when they first announced the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, I was a little disappointed because they got some of the details wrong because they first announced Hogsmeade and they put Ollivanders in Hogsmeade. And if you know anything about Harry Potter, you know that Hogsmeade is the town right next to Hogwarts, and Ollivanders is in Diagon Alley. So that's one of the things that you first notice as like a diehard person. So I was really excited that when they added Diagon Alley, they put Ollivanders over there. They still have Ollivanders over in Hogsmeade, which is fine. I get it. But I will say the first time I went to Diagon Alley, I got very emotional because it is, if you've read the books, there is a chapter in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which is book 3. And it's when Harry goes to stay in Diagon Alley because he had just blown up his aunt. So he had to go somewhere before going back to Hogwarts. And the descriptions that J.K. Rowling put in that chapter is Diagon Alley. Like, it's amazing that Universal got it so right with the placement of the buildings, the way the buildings are colored, the way the shops are commemorated and described. It's just fantastic. So I was really pleased. And then the first time I went there, I just was so in shock of like, oh my gosh, that a few of my friends were like, wait, you haven't even seen like the dark side of Diagon Alley, which is literally Nocturne Alley, which is from the books. And so then I got emotional again because I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that was there. So um, they got it. They just got it so right. They got it so right.
Yeah, that Nocturne Alley is amazing. When you walk
Yes.
through there and how dark it is and so creepy and so
Yes.
like, and if you have a wand, right, there's some interactive things down that alley as well. There's interactive things
Mhm.
all over the place.
Yes.
Most of them work, I think, right? Like most of those work.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
come across a
definitely.
few that it takes a little bit of time, but they do work. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's really cool. They have that gift shop down there that is
I
like,
was going to just mention that the merchandise in that gift shop looks like it's from like book 2, Chamber of Secrets, when Harry accidentally gets into Nocturne Alley, and the hand is in there, and
yeah,
the vanishing cabinet is just so
I wouldn't
good.
pick up on. I just thought it was a cool gift shop, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
so, so it's nice to know that there's like such detail in there, and I know they worked really closely, to make it as close as possible, right? Like it,
Yeah.
and I think J.K. Rowling has like every single decision has to go through her, right? With this,
Yeah, from what I remember when they were discussing like the contracts and everything, that she did play a big part in, I mean, even down to the food offerings that she wanted, things a certain way, and but the butter beer to be made a certain way, and I think it's spot on. I love the offerings. I mean, the ice cream, the Fred and George Weasley's joke shop, all the stuff that's in there, the technology that's in there. It looks kind of like childlike almost, and that's who Fred and George were. They just were going for the magic and the items. So it's just great. I love it so much.
it's amazing. It's so nice, and it's nice to know that there's like such detail there for like diehard fans and
Yes.
people like me. I just look at it and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Like this looks
Right.
so cool.
Yeah.
But like obviously there's now every time I'll go in there, I'll be like, that has to mean something. Like, and I'll probably ask
Mhm.
my daughter, hey, what is that thing over there?
Right. Yeah. Well, and I love too that they have different shows throughout, the day, and in both Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley, they have the Beetle and the Bard show, which is from book 7, and people will remember the movie and the seventh movie with the Beetle and the Bard and learning about the Deathly Hallows, and then over in the Wizarding World, they've got the Frog Choir, which is always fun to see right outside Hogwarts. So they do have something for everyone, I think.
Yeah, another cool I wouldn't call it a store. It was like the bank there in Diagon Alley. You can go in there and there's like an animatronic there that's like watching you and they like actually talk to you. Like
Yes.
it's
Yes.
wild. And they're like,
Yeah.
"What are you looking at?" I'm like, "I don't know what I'm looking at. I have no idea." You're
Looking at you.
talking to me, but you're not even real. Like I don't even know what you're
Yeah.
doing. You know? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, in there it's kind of cool. So you could get a gift card, like a banknote, right? A Gringotts banknote. Um, and
That's
it's
something I need to do. There's always a long line to do it, and I just
I
haven't
I
had the
have
time to do it, but that's on
I,
my list.
I have one of those banknotes, and I kind of use it as a souvenir. I think they start
Yeah.
at like $10. So like,
Okay.
okay, for a souvenir, it's not that bad, you know. Like,
No. Yeah.
so
I've spent $10 in worse ways.
exactly, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So I used it as a souvenir. It was kind of cool, and definitely the experience was very cool. It was very quick, but like you walk in and it's a cool experience,
Mhm.
and supposedly, and I've never used it because I used it as a souvenir. You could use that around the Wizarding World or anywhere in Universal, actually. those,
Sure.
those
Yeah.
banquets. So that's kind of cool. Like
Yeah,
that's
that's
really
cool.
nice.
Yeah.
So, uh,
One more thing I want to mention, just like a little, I don't know, tidbit, and I don't want to give anything away because if you have never or read, not read, I'm sorry, if you've never ridden Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure in Hogsmeade, I didn't do any research prior to riding for the first time. So, to any listener who hasn't experienced it yet, I don't want to ruin it for you. But if you know anything about Devil's Snare, that's all I'm going to say. Devil's Snare. Because there's a part in the ride that you get to it and you're like, oh my gosh, I know what's going to happen. And then it happens and it's just amazing. And I don't want to give it away because there's nothing like the first time.
I
So,
wrote.
but it
I
has to
know
do
what
with
you.
Devil's Snare. Well, you have to read
I
book
got to
number
read that.
one.
I don't like reading though. Like I'm more of a movie kind of guy.
Well, it's in book. It's in the first movie. It's in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's
Oh,
Stone.
okay.
Yeah.
See, I don't know the character names. See, this is the
Okay.
thing. Like, I'm such a bad Harry Potter fan because I'm not a.
We're gonna have to tour the parks together, and we're gonna
Oh,
need a whole day. And I'm just gonna be pointing out everything. We'll
you're
bring your daughter with too.
VIP travel guide. You're gonna be my VIP travel guide that day. So,
Yes,
yeah,
just for Harry Potter because I
like
just love it.
you and my daughter could just like talk for hours probably. So
Oh, I bet we could. Yes, for sure.
all right, so we're gonna take a break now. All right, and when we come back, we'll start talking about Epic Universe. All right, and we'll be right back. The Universally Epic podcast is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel, a Universal You Preferred travel agency. If you are looking to plan your next Universal Orlando vacation, let's do it together. As a certified Universal specialist, I can help guide you through the planning process with helpful tips and tricks along the way. The best part, all my travel planning services are absolutely free to use. And when you book your Universal Orlando vacation with me, you qualify for an exclusive booking bonus offer from the Magic for Less Travel. A $25 Universal gift card for all vacation packages over $2,500. Ready to start planning? Email me at jim.klein@themagicforless.com to start planning your next epic Universal vacation. Okay, so we're going to get into Epic Universe now. We're going to talk about two things. We're going to talk about Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry, and we're going to talk about Super Nintendo World. So let's start with Harry Potter and the Battle of the Ministry. So you must be very excited, right? As a Harry Potter fan, like how excited are you?
Mhm. I'm pretty excited. I did see the two, or I guess there's three now of the Fabulous Beasts franchise. So it looks like with the artist renderings that they're going with the Fabulous Beast Paris scene, and then it looks like to get to the Ministry of Magic in London that you're going to go down an alleyway, and it kind of looks like a train station. I'm not sure. I could be making that up, but it looks like there's a bunch of fireplaces with flue powder. So if you're a Harry Potter fan, you know what that means. That means you go into a fireplace with the flue powder and then you throw it down and you say your destination. So, and then if you remember from Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix and then Deathly Hallows, the Ministry of Magic has those like that entry with the fireplaces and like they glow green when a witch or a wizard arrives. So that's how it looks like you're going to be arriving at the Ministry of Magic.
Oh, nice. Okay, so
So that looks pretty cool. Yeah, nerd alert.
cool. That is, that is very cool. That's a very cool detail that, like, now that you said it, like, is going to be kind of cool to see in person as well.
Yeah, so I'm hoping I have those details right, but from the artist rendering from the website, that looks kind of like how they're going to get you into London, because that's what I was wondering. How are they going to connect Paris and London? Like, and they're in separate universes too. Like Fabulous Beast was in the 1920s, and then of course 1990s for the battle against Umbridge and the Ministry of Magic, like in book 7. So
Nice. Some good details there, right? That's amazing. Um, so, what about the attraction there? Like, what are you looking forward to there?
I think I'm most excited to see how they get Umbridge to, I don't know. It'll be fun to fight Umbridge because if you're a Harry Potter fan, you've seen book 5. If you've read book 5, she's even more evil by reading it. They left out some of those more evil things in the movie. So I think a lot of guests will have great satisfaction, seeing Umbridge get attacked.
Nice, nice. And the attraction itself looks very good. Like the concept art that they have looks really really cool. Um,
Yeah.
you're kind of in like what looks like an elevator type of thing, with one of
Yeah.
those little claw mechanisms, kind of like Forbidden Journey. Um,
Hmm.
like the concept art, I'm not sure how much. We all know screens are play a big part at Universal, but it
Hmm.
looks like this. It's gonna be a nice little blend of like screens and actual like animatronics. That's what it looks like to me. I don't
Yeah.
know about you.
It kind of looks like a good, like, because I really liked Gringotts and how they incorporated how it did really feel like you were going down deep into the mines, but we all know that you were not. So it was cool that they had those like, side, vignettes with the characters, and then I'm assuming that this one will have that as well. So you'll have some kind of ride mechanism like Forbidden Journey to make you feel like you're moving, but then there'll be some of those character interactions with the screens.
Yeah,
So
very.
it'll be cool.
Yeah, it'd definitely be very cool. Yeah, we were talking before about we'd love to talk about some of the restaurants and some of the food options, but like Universal hasn't really released anything yet in terms of uh, menu wise, right?
Right.
So like I'm
Yeah.
sure it's going to be delicious because all the other Wizarding Worlds are like the food is really good. Like it is, I enjoy the food at those other two parks, so
Hmm.
I'm assuming that it's going to be just as good in this one.
Yeah. In the artist rendering, I did see a butterbeer cart. So they do
Of course.
serve butterbeer in Paris, apparently. So you'll still be able to get your butterbeer.
Of course. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll add an extra one. I don't know what else they could do. They have seven of them already, but like that would be kind of cool to see a
Yeah.
new.
Well, they've got to get one over, at Epic Universe.
Yeah,
So
right. There's got to be something, right? Sure, Ian. Um, so yeah, so this land is going to be awesome. We all know that, right? It's going to be very cool. The details are going to be there. Um, and then our next land that we're going to talk about is the Super Nintendo World, which I think we both agree that like both our kids are going to be like head over heels for,
oh
right?
my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My boys have entered the Mario phase, or the Mario era, I should
Yeah.
say. We play a lot of Mario Kart, Luigi's Mansion, Donkey Kong. Yeah, that's where we are right now. So
Yeah, like the warp, like the what is that thing called? The portal going into the land. What is that thing?
yes,
The green, like, yeah, it's a warp tube, right?
yes, it looks so cool. Yeah, all the boys and girls too. I can't minimize that. They're all gonna go nuts to
Yeah,
see
so
that. And
we've
that new Donkey Kong ride with the
yeah,
technology behind that, with the jumps
it looks
and the break and track.
yeah, that I'm looking forward to that almost more than any other part of Epic because that Donkey Kong ride, like just the and I love how they release some of this stuff out there just to let you know, like, hey, like we have some cool looking technology. Like it's gonna look like you're jumping the tracks when in fact you're actually on two separate tracks the whole time.
Yes,
And it's
yes.
kind of cool. Like I like the behind the scenes type stuff, and like to see like that out there from Universal, I think it's really cool for them to let us see that. It's kind of like, yes, some people will argue that like they don't want to know that part of it, right?
Hmm.
But it doesn't. That did not phase me at all. Like I still want to enjoy the attraction. I think it's going to be even better because you're not even you're hopefully when you're on the attraction, you're not even going to realize that you're on two separate tracks.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's going to be so cool. And like we've seen Super Nintendo World over in Hollywood looks amazing, right? Now this is just
Mhm.
going to be that plus a whole nother land, basically
Yeah, it's gonna be bigger.
Donkey Kong Country Land. It's going to be so much fun, and that's one of those things that like you could probably find yourself staying in there for a couple hours, right?
For sure. Yep, for sure. I think so. If they have the character interactions, that's going to be, fun to have those walk around and,
And they have
get the pictures.
those power up bands that you could purchase, right?
Yes.
All the interactive games, and you know you're collecting tokens, and my kids are gonna love it. They're gonna love it, and I'm gonna be like, "Can we just go next door to Dark Universe now?" And like, they're like, "No, no, 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 we're gonna stay
Yeah.
here for a while."
I
Like, yeah,
think there's a reason at Hollywood they have that purchasable option to get into, the
yes,
Nintendo, in advance. So it'll be interesting to see if they offer that here in Orlando.
yeah, that is a
But
good point. Like, you can purchase that. I'm not sure if they're going to do that in Orlando because they're already limiting the
The one
Epic
day.
Universe. Yeah, like you're only going there one day in your package. Like obviously you can purchase multiple packages, ticket packages, but like you know,
Yeah, they might wait and see. They
yeah,
might,
yeah,
see how it goes.
yeah. You're right. I think they might just hold up a little bit and then see what's popular. Um, on our last episode, we talked about Isle of Burke, and that was like one of those like underrated places. Like that, like
Like, any questions about that? I don't know anything about that
oh,
yet.
and it's one of those things that nobody really knows about, right? It's such a weird thing to put in there, and then but when you look at all the concept art and stuff, like that looks kind of cool too. So I think
Mhm.
you're gonna have a lot of people kind of dispersed throughout the park because you have like obviously the Halloween Horror Night fans are going to Dark Universe first. Like that's that's where they're just gonna pack that place out. Kids are going to both. It's almost like two kids themed lands, but not kiddie. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
you get what I'm saying? Like, so
yeah.
they have attractions that aren't like baby attractions. So it's not teenager either, right?
No, I know what you mean. Because it's the Donkey Kong ride is going to appeal to everyone. I feel like it doesn't look so intense of a roller coaster like Velocicoaster. So you're going to capture some of those, the little guys, and then of course adults and everything. But Nintendo, I mean, it's generational. I mean,
Yeah,
adults who started playing as kids are gonna totally geek out when they walk in and see all the details. So I think they're really hitting the nail on the head, because even with all the new games that they're coming out, it's just going to be timeless. I feel like at this point with future generations.
yeah.
So
I grew up with Mario. Like it was Donkey Kong Country. Like that was my childhood, and it's
mhm.
amazing now that like it's still held up for this long,
Yep.
right? I'm not young, like so. It's like I'm like, wow, like back in the I was a kid in '90s, and it was huge back then, and it's still huge today. So it's
Mhm.
amazing how long that's been able to go, and now to experience it in like real life, it's
Mhm.
so cool. It's gonna be really fun. I can't
Now,
wait.
forgive me to even ask this. So the Isle of Burke, that's How to Train Your Dragon, right?
Yeah, I had to train your dragon. Yeah, so
Okay.
I've
Because yeah, I saw Wicked and they were advertising How to Train Your Dragon. So I thought, oh, this is perfect timing. The travel agent in me was like, well, yeah, this is great because now they're going to have a new movie that's going to pump, the guests
yeah,
into that area. So it's
they're
good
good
timing.
movies. I've seen them once. It's not like something that you'll watch over and over again, but like, or my kids do. But
Well, I'm sure my kids will too. We just haven't
yeah,
done that
it's a good movie. It is a good movie. Um, and I think the land is going to probably be better than the movie because it
yet. Of
looks
course.
so good. Like it looks so good. Everything looks so good there. Like I can't wait to go. Like I really
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So like that'll take us to the end of the episode. All right. And
Okay.
I want to thank you very much for coming on. Um, let everyone
Thank
know
you.
where they can find you on social media or wherever you want them to find you.
I'm on Instagram or gosh, that was my old handle. Sorry. At Laura Fitz _travels. I changed my name to make it more user friendly because my other one had too many underscores in it. So, and then you can find me on Facebook. I'm Laura Fitzpatrick on Facebook, and I have a business page. So that's where I spend most of my time. I have a TikTok, but I don't know. I just more like everything. So,
Well, thank
yeah.
you very much for coming on.
Yeah.
All right, and everyone, to like, follow, and subscribe to Universally Epic Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Also, listen to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, join the Universally Epic Tips and Tricks Facebook group. This episode has been brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. If you have any Universal Orlando trip planning questions or looking to book your next trip, email me at jim.klein@themagicforless.com. And like always, have an epic week, everybody.